Price up power up to the Retro and Remasters PlayStation sale. Now this sale is the tiniest sale I've ever seen, but don't worry, I've still gone through the most extreme effort of looking through it. And with all of that effort, I found some really good games for you to check out. You can save a lot of money on them as well. So if you like the idea of finding some really cool games to play and saving a lot of money along the way, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe. You're welcome here anytime. Now this sale ends on the 25th of June, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Arcade Paradise High Score Edition. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £7.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty decent deal, as this edition includes both the PS4 and PS5 version, with all of the DLC of 8 arcade machines, including a Kung Fury game, a dance machine, and a pinball machine as well, which is really great. You get all of the content included, complete version of the game. Now, just so you know, there's a PSVR 2 version as well, and that's on a discount of 45% for the price of £8.79 at the moment, but there's also a complete bundle that includes both the non-VR and the VR version with all of the DLC as well. So for some reason you really want both versions, that's an option as well, but it's not on sale right now, so you'll have to wait for that in the future if you're interested in that. In this management game, after your family leaves you a rundown old laundrette, you decide to rebel by using the profit to slowly convert it into the ultimate retro arcade. It features over 35 playable arcade games and various business activities as well. Now I'm really interested in this game. I really like management games, and I find the idea of this one really cool, and especially because it's got a VR version as well, I'm really tempted in that one in particular. I think it'll be really cool to try all of the games as well, because they're fully playable. I'm sure they're not complete games, but I'm interested to see how fun they are. They might add a lot of value if they're half decent. The basic gameplay loop of this game is that when you start off, you have to do a lot of laundrette sort of stuff. Washing clothes, managing your money, cleaning up the place, and then as you start to make money, you can start making an arcade in the back room, and then eventually renovate the whole place and make a complete arcade, which you then get to customize to make your ultimate arcade, which is really cool. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this game if they're into management games and retro games as well. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, then why not check it out? I think it's a really cool and interesting game that a lot of people will enjoy if they give it a chance. And hey, if you've never played a management game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. I really like the look of it, but it is pretty pricey at the moment, and I think it'll be cheaper in the future. Plus, you can get many other options cheaper than this, including big AAA management games as well, so you're much better off starting with one of them instead. But don't worry, if you subscribe, you won't miss them when they come on sale in future videos. We have an FPS next, Hard Reset Redo. It was released in 2016, so it's 9 years old, but the original game was a bit older than that really. And it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.89, which is a really great deal for a really decent looking game. And this version includes remastered visuals and additional content as well, which is really good. You're getting the best version of the game with some extra content thrown in as well. You can't ask for much more really. In this game, you live in the final human city and get drawn into a dangerous conflict between two of mankind's greatest enemies. It features old school over-the-top destruction, loads of enemies, and weapon variety as well, with a challenging campaign to complete. Now, this is a pretty old school FPS, so it's basically linear, has a pretty decent story, and focuses more on gameplay and crazy action. So if you like your games a bit more retro, that don't focus on online multiplayer and team-based stuff like they do these days, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. It's really cheap, it's really fun, and there's a lot of old school action to be had here. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, then why not check it out? At this price, I think it's a really good deal, and you get a lot of game for your money. I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then you could start here if you like the look of it. It's a pretty decent game at a really low price, and you get a lot for your money. So if you've always wanted to try an FPS, and you like games that focus on fun and gameplay, then you'll probably enjoy this. So why not check it out? At this price you can't go far wrong. Up next, we have Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning Fate Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, but the original game came out in 2012, so it's a bit older than that really, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £11.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal as this edition is remastered with additional PS4 Pro enhancements that will work on PS5 as well, and it includes the Fast Worm expansion as well, so again the complete version of the game with all of the DLC included, which is really good. Expansions are the best sort of DLC. They usually include a lot of actual gameplay and really good content, so it's good to see that here. In this action RPG, you get to play as the revived Fateless One and embark on a quest to alter Amalur's fate in a world torn apart by a vicious war while navigating political intrigue and combat between multiple factions, and it features customizable combat and abilities as well. Now, I have seen people saying that the remaster of this game is not much of a remaster, and it doesn't really look much different than the original. But hey, the original wasn't on PS4 or PS5. It was on PS3 and PC, so if you want to play this game, that won't really matter to you. This is the release that's available to you, and it's not a worse release, so who really cares? Especially as it includes the Fate Swarm expansion, which wasn't available with the original. I've heard mixed things about that, but hey, you get it thrown in with this version, so again, who cares? It's a good game, and you get some extra content for it. Even if it's not as good as the original content way back in the day, it's nice to have something extra. I don't see any issue with that really, especially at this price. Now, the good thing about older RPGs is that they're usually better than the modern ones these days. Of late, the modern ones have been pretty poor or lackluster. There's a few really good ones, but a lot of them, especially sequels, have been pretty poor lately. But this is a really good game. It was popular back in the day, and people really seem to like the remaster. It seems like a really good game with a lot of really fun combat and some fun mechanics as well. So if you're a fan of RPGs and you want a really good game with a load of content included for a really low price, then why not look at this? RPGs are really good games for you to dive into and get lost in, and this looks like a pretty decent old one. So if you like the look of it as much as I think a lot of people will, then why not check it out? It's a really good game for a really good price. And hey, if you've never played an action RPG before, then you might be able to start here. You can get bigger AAA ones for cheaper than this, and even legendary ones as well. But if you've played more of the mainstream or popular ones, then this is a really good old school one for a pretty decent price, especially with some DLC included as well. It's not that bad, although I think it'll be a little bit cheaper in the future. So with a bit of patience, you might be able to save yourself a bit of money as well. Either way, if you're really keen on it, then take a look. But if not, you do have other options, and I think it'll be a little cheaper in the future. So it's up to you really. Make your choice. Our next game is Coloon High School Chronicle. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, but the original game came out in 2004, so it's been around a while really, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, especially for a game that's as well thought of. And this version is a HD remaster of the original game as well, so you do get improved graphics, although the gameplay is much the same really. In this adventure RPG, you get to transfer to a new Japanese school on a secret mission as a treasure hunter to make friends to find and explore an ancient ruin full of traps and monsters beneath the school. It features friendships, puzzles, combat, and mysteries to solve as well. Now, this game's got some pretty good reviews and people seem to really like it. In general, it was really liked because it has an interesting mix of genres, which makes it really interesting and fun for people that are into these sorts of games. It just seems to be a really unique and interesting game. So if you're a fan of adventures and RPGs, and especially if you're interested in the story, then why not check this out? It's a very different game, a very different mix of genres, so it's not going to be for everyone. But if this is your sort of game, then you'll probably really enjoy it. If you've never heard of this one, definitely check it out. It might just be the most interesting game you've seen in a while. And hey, if you've never played an adventure RPG before, then you could start here. It's a really cool and interesting game that a lot of people seem to like, and it's at a pretty good price as well. It might be a bit cheaper in the future, but if you're really interested, why not take a look now? But if not, don't worry, keep up with the videos, and you won't miss it when it's on sale next, and other games like it as well. Up next is my Star by Serious Sam collection. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, but the original games are much older than that really, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really amazing value, as this collection includes 3 full games, including Serious Sam HD, the first encounter, the second encounter, and 3 BFE, with all released content for all games as well, which is really good. You're getting 3 full games for a really low price. You can't ask for much more really. Now, these are all first-person shooters, where you get to play as Sam, trying to save Earth from an alien invasion by time-traveling to Earth's history, looking for ancient advanced technology, and fighting hordes of enemies. It features a survival mode, 4-player split-screen co-op, and 16-player online multiplayer as well, although who knows how busy that is these days. Now, these games are pretty old school. They're very gameplay-focused, so if you like FPSs where you're running around with really cool guns and hectic gameplay with a load of enemies, and having a load of fun with the different gun variety, and cool weapon mechanics, then this is the sort of game you'll really enjoy. Although if you're into those sorts of games, I would have thought you'd heard of this series before. But hey, maybe you haven't played them, or maybe you haven't played the HD versions and only the originals. Either way, this is a really good series. They were pretty big back in the day, and they're still well thought of now. They're just very old school in their gameplay. But if you're okay with that, you'll have a great time with these. Especially if you grew up playing older FPS games, you'll probably really like them. Like I said, they're my Star buy. They're well worth your time and money, I promise. So why not take a look if you're tempted. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then you could start here, but you're getting 3 full games, so that's a lot of game for your money if you're not going to play them. But hey, if you like games where the gameplay's the king, and you really like cool gun mechanics and that sort of thing, then this is a really good place to start. If you're really into them, you are getting a lot of game for your money, but they are really good. So if you're tempted, why not check it out? But if not, you have a huge amount of choice in this genre, so there'll be plenty more for you to choose from in future videos. So if that's the case, don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss your other options in future videos. This War of Mine Complete Edition is our next game. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, although the game's a little older than that really, but not by much, and is on an 85% discount for the price of £3.29, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for non-PS Plus members, which is really good. You shouldn't have to pay more just because you don't have PS Plus. Now, this edition is for PS5 only. There is an older edition for PS4, but it doesn't have for all of the DLC, so you don't get quite the same version, and it's not on sale right now either. So if you don't have a PS5, you'll have to wait a while for that one. Now, this edition includes the remastered base game with all 4 DLC, so you're getting the complete version of the game with everything included, which is really good if you've got a PS5. In this unique survival game, you play as civilians trying to survive in a war-torn city. With the day being too dangerous to venture out, you must protect and expand your refuge while searching for resources at night. Now, this game was pretty well thought of, and the reviews are really good. It does cover some pretty dark subjects. I mean, it's set in a war-torn city, and one of the DLC adds kids to it, so it is pretty dark and pretty realistic. So if you don't have the stomach for it, you might want to stick away from this game. But hey, if you really like gritty, dark stories and really good, realistic, authentic human experiences, then you might really enjoy this game. It's quite different and really unique. If you're into survival games, you'll probably really enjoy this game. It's got a lot to it, and people that like it really like it. So if you're tempted, definitely take a look at it. It's not for everyone, but if it's for you, I think you'll have a really good time with this one. Definitely take a look if you're interested. I think you'll really enjoy it. And hey, if you've never played a survival game before, then you could start here if you're into the subject and the darkness of the storytelling. It's a really good game with a lot of content included for a really low price, so you can't ask for much more really. But if this isn't the sort of story that you like, or the subject matter that you like, but don't worry, keep up with the videos and you'll have plenty of options to choose from in the future. We have an old school game series next, Spplitters. It was released in 2024, so it's 1 year old, but the original was a PS2 game, so it's way older really, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £1.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty decent deal. And just so you know, Splitters 2 and Future Perfect, which is the third game, are also on sale for the same price, so if you like the whole series, you might want to pick them all up. It's just a shame they don't have a bundle that includes all 3. I don't see why they shouldn't do that. They're just being lazy, I guess. In this FPS, the Time Splitters have been awakened from an ancient sleep and are now tearing through time, erasing humanity from history. And now you must travel through time, fighting back, correcting history, to save mankind before it's too late. It features 18 levels, 55 playable multiplayer characters, a map editor, and a load of humour, plus 4-player local multiplayer as well, which is really good for parties and playing with friends, partners or kids. Now, this was a legendary game series back on PS2. It was one of the biggest and best FPS shooting series around, and it was really good, and it was especially known for being unique because of the game mechanics and the whole time travel aspect. It meant that practically every level was in a different period or unique event in history, which made it really cool and just fun in general. So if you're a fan of old school game series, ones that may not have the modern graphics these days, but the gameplay's pretty fun and they have really cool ideas and their narrative single player campaigns mainly, then you'll have a lot of fun with this. It was a really good series. I played them all back in the day and I really loved them, but I haven't played them in ages, so I'm not sure how they hold up these days. But hey, they're legendary for a reason. If you're into retro games, definitely take a look at these. I think you'll really enjoy them if you're a retro gamer. And hey, if you've never played an FPS before, then I probably wouldn't recommend starting here. Old school games are not for everyone, and this shouldn't be your first experience. You might just be put off the genre, which would be a shame. Although I'm sure most people have played an FPS these days, but still, don't start here. Much better off starting with something else instead. But don't worry, keep up with the videos, and you'll have plenty of options to choose from in the future, and all of them will be a better place to start than this series. Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and Valkyria Chronicles 4 bundle is our next game. It was released in 2019, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £8.99, which is pretty good, as this bundle includes both Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and Valkyria Chronicles 4, so you're getting 2 full games for the one price, which is pretty good, especially as games made in Japan are usually pretty pricey, especially tactical games and niche ones as well. You usually have to pay a lot for them, so you're getting some pretty good games from a usually expensive market for a pretty decent price, which is unusual and pretty good. In these turn-based strategy games, in Valkyria Chronicles, the continent of Europa has plunged into a second European war. You get to follow Lieutenant Welkin Gunther of Squad 7 as they fight for the Gallian militia against all hope to defeat the forces of the Empire. And in Valkyria Chronicles 4, it takes place during the same events of the first game, but follows a squad of the Federation as they fight for freedom, but blizzards, waves of Imperial soldiers, and godlike Valkyrie may be too much for them. Now in general, turn-based strategy games are pretty rare these days. They don't make a lot of new ones, and they don't make a lot of them very regularly either. So it's really nice to see a series still going that's pretty well thought of, and has some really good high production values, and are generally just thought of as pretty good games. Now I really like turn-based strategy games. I think they really test your mental abilities, and they're really rewarding when you win games, especially if you don't lose units in games that punish you for that. I think they can be a lot of fun, especially if you're into tactics and games that make you think. So if you're into turn-based strategy games like I am, and you've never played this series before, or you're just into this genre and you really like the theming or idea of these games, then why not check them out? You are getting 2 full games for your money, so it's a pretty good deal if you like this sort of thing. And in general, you don't have a lot of options in this genre, so you should definitely check them out if you're into it. You might just have a good time if you give them a chance. And hey, if you've never played a turn-based strategy game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a good deal for 2 games, but it's pretty pricey for a first try at a game series, especially in a genre that you're not sure if you like, so you're much better off starting with another one instead. You may not have a lot of options, but there are others, and you can get them individually cheaper than this. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss your options in future videos. And the final game I have for you is a horror game. White Day, a labyrinth named School. It was released in 2017, so it's 8 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. Just be aware that there's a PS4 and PS5 version, but they're separate. You can't upgrade one to the other, so make sure you pick up the right one so you don't get stuck with a game you can't play. There is an Ultimate Horror Edition as well, and that's on sale, but it's only on PS4, and it only includes cosmetics, so I'm not sure if it's worth buying that, but if you're interested in them, it's on a 75% discount for the price of £8.24. If you want that version instead. But in general, if you're not into the cosmetics, which I don't see why most people would be, then you're better off with this version. In this horror game, after a good deed goes wrong, you and your friends end up locked in a school, haunted by troubled souls, with a killer janitor hunting you as well. And your only hope is to hide and survive long enough to uncover the school's dark secrets and escape alive, before it's too late. It features challenging puzzles and multiple endings as well, so it does reward multiple playthroughs, but keep in mind that the puzzles and some of the gameplay elements are only available for not the easy version of the game. I've seen some people complain about that, but I'm assuming if you're playing the easy version of the game, they think you just want to see the story and don't want to play the actual game, so they cut that out for you. So I don't understand why people are complaining about that. I'm like, if you're playing on easy, then you're not really playing the game anyway, are you? So suck it up, buttercup. Now, in general, there's a ton of horror games around, and most of them are survival horror games. Now, there is quite a lot of them as well. We get to hide and seek from monsters, and they're really popular and people really like them within the genre, and I really like the idea of it as well. It's nice to see a theme in a story that's a bit different than zombies and that sort of thing that we see everywhere else. So if you're into your horror games and you like the look of this one, then why not check it out? I think it's pretty different and unique compared to a lot of them, and it seems to be pretty well thought of. So if you like the look of it, definitely check it out. I think you might have a lot of fun if you pick it up. And hey, if you've never played a horror game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It looks like a really good game for a pretty decent price. You can get other ones cheaper, and even big AAA ones as well. And this genre's chock-a-block full of choices. There's so many to choose from that if you're not particularly interested in this one, or you want a better deal, you'll get one at some point. There's just so many games in this genre. So don't forget to subscribe, and then keep up with the videos, and you won't miss your other choices when they're on sale next. And that's all the games I have for the Tiny Retros and Remasters PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the Star Buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you found some cool games to play, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Oil Vour.